Well, here we are in Phac Ding on our way into... We're going to look at the Osprey Talon 44 and the Atmos 35. I thought what we would do is take a look at some of the features of this pack. Probably start with the back. What you want to do when you're looking at a pack is you want to make sure you've got some kind of airflow type system, something that's going to move the moisture so that it doesn't kind of just sit on your back. And if you look at the technology on the back of this Osprey pack, you've got this airspace technology. You can't probably, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but there are actually ribs here that actually move the moisture out the side away from your back. So that's kind of a nice feature when you're looking at this. And when we look at the Atmos 35, it'll even have an enhanced cavity which will really keep a lot of the moisture off your back. Some of the other nice things that Osprey's been doing in their kind of smaller size packs, well, 40 liter and under kind of thing, is they cut away a lot of the extra weight that goes into a pack. So fast packing is becoming a real big trend. And what you're seeing here is if you look in the hip belt, for example, they've cut away bits of the hip belt. Mainly, the reason they're doing that is to cut down weight. If you look at the straps, you can see that they've also cut away straps, cut away foam from inside the straps. All of this is just to reduce the weight of the pack. The other thing I would quite like about this Talon is it's actually got, it's top loaded, but it also has bottom access here. So if we kind of look inside this pack, you've got a really nice area right in the front here where you can just stuff in some key essentials that you might want. So I've got my rain jacket in here, just in case it starts to drizzle and I need to get access to that quickly. You've got your typical top loading access here, which will allow you to kind of get into the essentials. But what's also nice about this is if you look down at the bottom of this pack, you can actually get to some essentials from the bottom. And of course what I've got here is some toilet paper. The little thing on the fitting, you want to make sure this is a large pack for me, that you get a pack that fits your frame properly. So for me, this is a large size pack. You want to make sure that the belt that you have is a substantial belt. As you can see, this isn't a small hip belt on here. So you want to have a substantial belt that sits right on your hip bone. So you want to make sure you're doing that. And then what you also want to look at is the strap, this portion here that attaches to the shoulder strap. When you put the pack on, you want to make sure that it's kind of sitting at a top kind of 45-degree angle. Those two things, where this sits on your hip and the angle of this, will kind of start to tell you whether you've got the right size pack. The last thing you want to do is get a pack that doesn't fit properly. And the hip belt is really important because what it allows you to do is take most of the weight, even though there isn't tons of weight, and to put the weight onto your hip area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up here the Atmos 35, just as a little contrast. This pack is a little bit smaller and it has some pros and cons in comparison to the Talon 44. It's a little bit more advanced when it comes to I think, when it comes to the frame technology. Again, it's using this kind of airspace concept, but if you look from the side, you can actually see that there's a lot more space between where the pack sits, the panel sits on your back, and where the frame is. So you'll really get a lot more flow, thus less sweat on your back. This is an ample size pack as well. It's got all the same features from the Talon perspective as far as cutaways from the shoulder straps, cutaway from material from the hip belt just to lessen the weight. It doesn't have access from the bottom, so if that's an important feature, that's something you need to look at. Again, all the materials are very similar to the Talon. You've got nice little stuff pockets on the side. You got areas in the front where you can have quick, easy access to whatever you need.